we're live on YouTube. All right, everybody. So let's go to the SPY, and you'll see good old SPY. Crazy looking chart on the daily with SPY. So you kind of have that inverted hammer off the 9 EMA. So we got to see if this can hold, but just be aware of this left shoulder and then a head here. So you could have a potential head and shoulders. So we'll have to see which direction it goes. You'll see in the pre-market, let's see, maybe a double bottom here forming. Where does that put us right now? 321. Let's look at the daily. Puts us right down, right about halfway into that candle right there. So, you know, it needs to get right above really, but, you know, that 323.86 area. Otherwise, you have that left shoulder resistance. Let's look at the hourly. Yeah, so it's got, it's not looking so hot at the moment. Lots of overhead resistance, so we will see. Again, remember, stocks run with the market, so we got to watch what happens today. So I have a few that I'm taking a look at. I'm most intrigued right now with WTI. I want to go over to. Yes, we do. We have a Twitter account. I will post it right here. BR. So here's our Twitter right there. So YouTube peeps, if you want to follow us on Twitter, that is our Twitter. So I'm looking at WTI at the moment. That's oil. It has a kind of a weird daily shooting star candle. However, I'm looking at this, if my screen will zoom out, kind of a big double bottom on the daily. It kind of filled this gap, daily gap, kind of last week. So it's kind of filled this gap. Now, if it can hold this, if you look right here, that it's a possible cup and handle pattern. So if it can hold that 595 and then break that 610 level, this might have some continuation up. And you can see there's basically kind of a double bottom on the weekly. So if it can clear that 610 level, this has some room to potentially move. So I'm keeping an eye on WTI. What else? What's up, Nadine? From the watch list, I'm looking at CFRX. That is a sub-dollar stock. So it kind of had that bull flag, and then it kind of had that, I don't even know what you want to call it. Not a piercing or an engulfing. It could be kind of both. But you can see if it can get above that 68-cent marker, it might have a chance at a pop. And if it can clear that 80-cent level right up in there. So I was keeping an eye on that one in the pre-market. It's about right around 75 cents. So we'll see if it can clear 75 cents and then 80. And then next up, if it can clear 80, then I'd say about $1 resistance. Next up, let's look at FCEL. So this is the stuff you like to see at market open. You like to see kind of like these bull flags. This is what I really like to see. So again, market's not open yet, but this is the stuff we're looking for at open. So this one I'm definitely going to keep an eye on. And now you can see the new pre-market high is 235. Let's see where that puts us on the daily chart. Right over, about right there, 235. So if it can break 235, then we got to watch this 273, kind of 293 level. So we'll watch and see. It's a little bit overextended. We have to see what the markets do at open as well. So that's why I'm keeping an eye on oil. Also gold. I am watching EGO. This is a gold stock. So this one right here kind of had a bearish engulfing on the daily, which you don't like to see. That's typically a bearish pattern. But let's see if it can clear that. Where's 838 level? If we look at it and then right up in this 845, so let me look at a 5-minute chart. What ticker is what, Jay? So with EGO, this is a gold stock. So, for crying out loud, my mouse is all funky. If this, obviously you want some volume to come in on these as well. So you want to see if it can clear this 834, then kind of 840, 845 level. So we'll have to see what happens with EGO. I'm just watching EGO and WTI. So this is a gold stock, and then WTI is an oil stock. So again, WTI just really, it's pretty obvious with this one. You want to see volume come in, 810 to break and hold. This one I'm watching most closely, and then the EGO, and then FCL at the moment. So we just got to see what happens at the market. Jay, I'm not sure what you're questioning. What ticker is what? I'm showing the charts on my screen, so I'm not sure what ticker is which one. Let me look at NIO. That was another one that I had on my list too. It's trading sideways at the moment. Let me see. I say that's more of a symmetrical triangle. I wouldn't necessarily call that a bull flag. This is a more of like that's kind of a bull flag. A little bit crazy of one, but this is more of like a symmetrical triangle at the moment. I'm watching this one. It's just kind of trading sideways. You'd like to see this is a bull flag, FCEL. Let's pull that up. These are bull flags right here. Kind of go right here. Right here too. Goes up, pulls back down. That's a bull flag. Pulls up, pulls back down. This is my favorite pattern right here. Pulls back, let it break out, take your profits. Pulls out, back here, breaks out, then you consider taking your profits or, riding the 9. If you get a good entry and a small little bull flag breakout, you could ride the 9. Just many times these stocks have bull flags in pre-market that look really nice, and then they dump at the open. So these are bull flags right here, up, back, and then it comes back, but they get a little bit bigger, obviously, because more people are watching it. And so that's ideally what you're looking to see for bull flags. YouTube peeps, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Rumba? What is Rumba? Gold V / GC. So gold broke out at that 1563 level. Then obviously now you want to see that $1,600 break, right up there. Let's see where that puts us on a weekly. It's weekly high. So yeah, you want to see with gold GC, if you're questioning GC, if the price can get over that $1,600 out of that whole dollar amount. So obviously, guys, there's a lot of uncertainty going on. So we got to see what happens at open, see if it's going to be bullish day or if it's going to be bearish. If we go again to the market, go to the spot, or let's go to futures. Futures is definitely pretty bearish at the moment. And you can see again, kind of that, it looks a little bit more clearer, kind of a head and a left shoulder. Doesn't mean it won't go and break out, but obviously, guys, you got to be careful. It's very overextended, the markets. It's definitely showing some bearishness at the moment. And you can just got to be aware of that left shoulder here on that 32.54. And if you look at the hourly, you know, again, kind of a hedge, left shoulder, right shoulder, kind of the neckline down here around that 32.09. So kind of a head and shoulders-ish pattern. And it's rejecting off of moving average resistance on an hourly as well. So got to watch and see. Jess, we do a whole business. We're the Bullish Bears, so you can see our link below. So yeah, we are a trading company. SAVA. Let me take a look at that one. So SAVA. Okay, that's an hourly chart. Let's pull up a 5-minute. So you kind of have that left shoulder right around that 1094, a head right around that 1125 area. So we will see if the moving average lines can cross, get above that left shoulder and then the head. Let's look at the daily resistance. That one's just super overextended at the moment. Dang, that one's way up there, huh? Well, then obviously look around this. I mean, this has room. If it can clear that 1125, it can go, you know, probably look up around that 1280-ish area. MBOT. Let me take a look at that one. MBOT has this kind of bull flag-ish right here. If it can get above, you want to see it get above ideally that $12 marker, that whole dollar amount. And yeah, it's above there right now. So yeah, this one could have some decent room to run. Keep an eye on that one. Very low float stock, so definitely keep an eye on that one. BP, British, is that British Petroleum? Or what is that? Yeah, I think that's British Petroleum. Yeah. Kind of a head and shoulders, possible ascending triangle. Got to watch what direction. It is a little bearish at the moment. On the daily chart, right near that 200 SMA. So ideally, you want to see it clear that $40, get above that 200 SMA, that black line right there. So again, we got to watch and see how things shake out. Is the market going to drop or is it going to continue up? It's just kind of in that indecision mode right now with everything that's going on. FCEL is definitely one I still like at the moment for a pattern. Right here, this one's creeping up. It's kind of doing those bull flags on a 5-minute. I'm going to keep FCEL on the watch and probably WTI at the moment. And also Life is another one that's kind of doing like a symmetrical triangle-ish pattern. But it's broaching VWAP, so we'll have to say. But this is the pattern, guys. If I can show you guys anything, this is exactly what you like to say. So no matter what you're trading, hold on, I'm just dropped something. All right. No matter what you're trading, those bull flags are really nice. But you ideally want to see, you know, smaller candles near moving average lines like this. And when everybody's watching it, they tend to get bigger. So, you know, if you can, whenever you're trading or day trading, if you can get these small little kind of bull flags back to the moving average lines, then as they break out, you can look at candlesticks, look at resistance levels, decide if you're going to take your profits, or you could use a ride the 9 strategy if you want to be in it a little bit longer. Apple, let me take let me take a quick look at Apple. Yeah, you got to be careful with these. Yep, not looking so hot right now for Apple. But that's kind of an obvious, right? You can see some support down here. Apple's just super overextended. And you have this kind of a, what is that, bearish Harami pattern. Doesn't mean it's going to tank. We got to watch and see. It's right near that 9 EMA. So at this point, see if the 9 EMA can hold. WTI is dumping. EGO might. I'm going to keep an eye on that one. Just showing you guys, I have a chart up right here, so I'm kind of looking at these ones right down in here. CFRX from the watch list is broaching pre-market highs. WTI is dumping. EGO for a gold stock. It's right around that 9 EMA and a 5 minute. I'm actually going to switch this to a 1. So we're just going to let it play out, guys. I'm looking for these bull flags. Oh, you can see CFRX. This is breaking pre-market high. This one might be an interesting one to take a look at. Also FCEL. I'm going to move that up right now and take a look at those. FCEL has some volume on it. And see if it can hold that 218 level now. So it's gapping up. See if it can hold that 218 and then get above that 236 level. Let's look at a 5 minute chart. If that can hold on a 5 minute, look at... Man, my mouse is all messed. Right around here, that 244 level. Still looking at CFRX. So we're going to watch right here if FCEL will hold the 5 minute and then see if it can break above that 235. I like to, again, see closer candles near the moving average line. So sometimes when they get like this, I let it break out and then look for a retest. So if we look at a 1 minute, at this point, you want to see, is it going to clear that 235 level or is it going to form a double top and fail? So this is where you got to be very quick on the trigger. Right here, I like to see if you got in at the break of this 1 minute candle, you can see that happens, guys. That's why you got to be very, I like to let these bull flags and let the patterns form for a few minutes before you go, because a lot of times it just goes right up, smacks right back down, and now you have that double top pattern. CFRX might be interesting. Let's take a look at that one. That 80-cent level is one to keep an eye on. Like to see a little bit more volume, but at this point I'd like to see it clear that 80 cents level, which is, I think there was some daily resistance there right at the top of that wick. If it can clear 80 cents, then look up to about that dollar area for resistance. This one could be interesting. So I'd like to see this one right here. Now it's got that kind of that diagonal flag. Me personally, I'd like to see this 9 EMA catch up, watch and see if it does a pullback for like a bull flag back to the moving average lines in anticipation of a break. And then you'd like to see it clear 80 cents and then a dollar resistance. At the moment, WTI, EGO, bearish. Let's look at the market. SPY is still a little bit bearish. NEX was one I was looking at. Let's see how that one is doing. All right, hold on. Let's keep an eye still on this one right here for CFRX. So at this point, again, watch and see if 80 cents can break and hold. Ideally, you'd like to see I personally like to see a flag back to the moving average line, small candle off of a moving average line in anticipation of a break. So when it gets kind of diagonal like this, I let it see if it's just going to break above or if it's just going to reject and pull back. So we're going to watch this one for a couple more minutes. So at this point, I'm watching right now. You can see it's near resistance at that 80 cents. Watch if it can flag back down, get this 9 EMA to catch up. But remember, when price hits a resistance, like a ceiling or resistance, you want to see if it can break out. Sometimes you might only get a small little candle like this and it won't come back to moving average lines, and then it goes and breaks out. Me personally, I like to see small little bull flags off the moving average lines. If I don't get those, I'll let the patterns play out until I can find one. If I don't find one, then I won't trade it. Again, me personally, everybody's trading plan is different, guys. Mine, I don't like a lot of risk. I don't like a lot of loss. So I'm kind of a quick scalper kind of person. I don't like to be in a trade for very long. I'm more of like a mid to higher float kind of guy, not necessarily low float. So let's see what CFRX is. This is kind of higher float, over 100 million, 150 million. So this is kind of a higher float stock. Means there's less likely to pump, less likely to dump. So when it breaks out, you know, you might not get as big of a gain, but when it breaks down, it also doesn't drop as much. Right here, it's broaching that 80 cents again, and then you can see it's kind of bringing it right back down. So you kind of have a double top pattern at the moment, but that candle still isn't formed yet. So I'm going to watch this one at the moment. So I'd like to see it come back down, but if not, I want to see it at least break and hold that 80 cent level. It's got a spinning top candle on a 1 minute for CFRX. Just be careful right here. Again, you want to see it break 80 cents and hold. So me personally, if I was to get in on this, I'd like to see it pull back to the 9 or let it break out above 80 cents like that and now retest. At this point, I'd like to see it retest and flag and get this 9 EMA up. Problem is many times it'll break out and then it won't retest. But I'd like to see now at this point, it's breaking daily resistance. I want to see if it'll flag this 80 cents and get this 9 EMA to catch up. But with these right here, so you'd like to see some smaller candles back, but a lot of times when it breaks out like this, you get those tweezer tops or these bigger candles. So we're going to watch this one right now. At this point, 80 cents, very important area to hold. So I'd like to see this 9 EMA catch up, but many a times it'll break out and then it keeps flying. So we got to watch at this point if it pulls back and it'll hold 80 cents or if it's just going to keep going up. Let's look at a 5-minute candle. You can see kind of bigger flag pulls. You got to be careful buying at the top of flag pulls, guys. I'd like to see, again, flags, not in the top of flag pulls. That's why I'd like to see a pullback on that one. It's got kind of tweezer tops on a 1 minute now. Now watch and see, is it going to come back to 80 cents or if it's going to go and break above that 82 cent level. That 5-minute candle has not formed completely yet. So we're going to watch and see what's going to happen right here on that 5-minute candle. And you can see it's still moving up. So it's not, you're not getting much of that pullback. So at this point, me personally, I didn't get the entry I'd like on something like that. I wanted to see a better bull flag back here, and that, see, this is what the stuff that happens on these, right? Sometimes it'll go up and then you have these indecision candles, but a lot of volume coming in. Me personally, not my style. I'm looking for those bull flags. I'm looking at NEX. That one's a little bit wacky at the moment. If you see on my charts right up here, guys, I'm looking at these. You can see FCEL at the moment is kind of bearish. You had double top failure. NIO is bear flagging. Life kind of got those wacky looking candles. You can see CFRX is kind of bullish. Didn't get the pullback that I want yet on a 1 minute. You can see though the 9 EMA is catching up here in a 1 minute, so this one we're going to keep an eye on closer. Ego, gold stock, kind of bear flagging-ish, and WTI, oil stock, bearish at the moment. So that's why there's really nothing thrilling me there. And then my other chart that I'm looking at right now, some other ones I was looking at was JE. Not doing much. NEX, I was looking at this, but then you have this crazy looking wick up here. BE's an energy stock. This one's failing. SPY, it's a little bit bullish at the moment, but it still hasn't broken previous close. So that's where I'm not really seeing much of anything I like at the moment. And CFRX, now you got this crazy looking spinning top or high wave-ish candle. So let's look at a 5 minute. So you had 3 kind of bullish candlesticks on a 5 minute. Now it's got this indecision. So I watched for a pullback on that one. So at the moment, I'm not really liking any of this stuff. Let's see if there's any other ones we can kind of scan and look for. Let's look at the scanners today. This one's SDC. This one looks like it has some news on it. High a day right here is at 944-ish level. Might be doing possible pennant-ish pattern. Let's look at a 5 minute. 5 minutes a little bit shaky with these wicks up top here. See if I can hold that 925-ish level. I actually might keep an eye on this one, SDC. Now it's kind of dumping on a 1 minute. So these crazy candles are like these high wave candles. You got to be very careful. You can get trapped in those. I like, again, cleaner bull flags, so I'm going to come back to that one. Let's see if there's any better ones. Plug. So this is where you start to look right here, right? So I'd like to see some smaller candles here, see if there's a smaller little hammer. Not these ones like this, not this crazy pattern. But right here you can see 354 high a day and then 358 pre-market. Let's look at... Let me actually get rid of those drawings. You can see there's a gap on the daily right around that 366 marker. And then 354 is high of day. So this one might be one to keep an eye on and see if it goes and fills that gap. Let's take a look again on a 5 minute. This one may be interesting, except it's a little bit, it's reversing back down on a 5 minute. So right here, you can kind of see this one may be interesting. Kind of has that head and shoulders-ish pattern pre-market. So at this point now, it's moving above that. You want to see it hold that 350-ish level. See if it can break above that 354 and then that 358 level. 355 and 358. Man, CFRX is still running on up. And I missed that one. Dang it. I'm going to go back to CFRX. But see what happens, guys, when you go real quick to other charts. CFRX, look what it did. Dang it. That's exactly what I would have liked to see here. You guys see how the 9 EMA catched up? It pulled back right here, and then it launched and took off. That would have been nice. Darn it. And now you got to be careful. So if you're new, guys, you wouldn't take a trade up here. It's below below a whole dollar amount, $1. It broke out. That was a decent 10-cent move, 85 cents up to 95 cents. People are taking their profits right below $1. Missed that one. Nice. Love it, Nadine. All right. Still lots of bearishness on the ones I was looking at, guys. So as you can see right over here, all a bunch of garbaccio. This is the one right here. You had that one kind of bull flag. It's not as clear as they'd want, but again, today's kind of a very choppy day. You had that one quick move out. You're in a minute, second minute candle right up here below 95 cents. Now we got to watch it right here. This might be interesting. Let's take a look at it. And see, again, if this 9 EMA will hold. Let's reset the drawings. The only problem is that bigger wick right there on that 95 cents. So I want to look with CFRX if this thing will move. If it pulls back enough, like right here, will it give you a 1 minute pullback enough for a potential of $1 break? You just got to be careful of this longer wick up in this area. And then so you get that little pause of this. It's not back as close as I'd like it to be near that 9 EMA. So right here, see if it can hold that 87, 80 cent level. So this is where you can see the candles are getting bigger. They're not as smaller as back down here. So the risk is a little bit more if you were to take a trade on this. So it's not as clear as I'd like. But at this point, you'd like to see it hold that 87 level, see if it bounces, and then see if it can break above that 95 cent level for a potential of $1 break. That's true, Creed. We're going to watch CFRX for a moment. So this is a little tricky on this one. So you have these two kind of hammers right here. So now at this point, they're a little bit further away from the 9 EMA. Right now, at this point, if you took an entry on this, you want to see this area hold and get above this 95 cents. So you got to watch this candle very closely. That's why it's a little bit riskier when it's away from these moving average lines. So you can use this area right here as a close stop area. So right here, if I got in on this, I'm watching this 1 minute candle closely and seeing what happens. If it doesn't do what I'd want, I might not let it fall down here because it could dump. Again, I personally like really tight risk management. So at this point, let's watch this 1 minute candle, see how this forms, and then the next one and see if it could break above that 95 cents. All right, so now it's pulling back, giving half this candle here. So again, very important area right here of support to hold. It's not doing the way I'd like it to see. But at this point, see if it gets a bounce right off here. And as you can see, it's showing some weakness. So at this point, you'd like to see right here, is it going to form a possible pennant pattern? This is where you want to get as close to support levels as possible. And it's got to contend with this upper wick like this. So this is where it could shake people out on those two hammer candles You can see it just kind of poked up a little bit, and it didn't, it didn't continue up. That's where a lot of times you'll get these fake out candles and it retests. So now at this point, we're going to watch it, see if it holds this 9 EMA, catches up, and forms a possible pennant or a symmetrical triangle. Let's look at a 5-minute chart. So this is normal, guys. You can see these big 5-minute candles. Goes up, then it wants, now you can see here it's pulling back here. Now we're going to watch in this 5 minutes, see if it holds up in this area. But remember, it's far away from the 9 EMA on a 5-minute. So let's keep an eye on it. Right in here, it's bouncing off the 9 EMA. So we're going to watch and see, will it hold this 9 EMA for a possible break above that 95-cent level? Watch for a possible little hammer off here. This one's a little bit crazier, guys, right? It's not giving you as clear as, like, you see how these candles here, it's not as like a smaller, candle back over in here. Now you got this kind of this doji candle here. So at this point, these are the ones I personally don't really like. I don't like getting trapped in these and staying in these for long, because you could have risked off here this, and you could still technically be in this, but I personally don't like the roller coaster of this few minute move around like this. I'd like to see a cleaner candle off that 9 EMA, like a smaller hammer, like a hammer like off here, kind of right in here. But you could still technically be in this trade and use that 9 EMA as your guide if you were in back over here. You just got to be aware of the risk. And right now it's not moving up. You want to see this 9 EMA, catch it, move it up, and get it to break. The heck? I'm trying to move that chart up. There it goes. 95 cents. Resistance. So at this point, if you were in this trade, you want to see it break 95 cents and hold. I want to go to my other chart right now and try to get this to move. Okay, there we go. WTI. Now that one I might look at. So guys, I'm going to go over to WTI for a moment. It's at doing an inverse head and shoulders or a possible cup and handle. So at this point, I personally don't like these crazy wicks like this. I don't have the stomach to stay in on this, but technically you could still be in and use this 9 EMA as your guide, but just be careful of this double top pattern. What I personally like to see is stuff like this on WTI. So you can see right here, possible inverse head and shoulders. And I'd like to see it clear that 596 level. So this right here I'm watching, is this going to form a possible flag pattern and see if these right above this VWAP, right? So you can see the moving average lines are sideways. You'd like to see them cross and push upwards and hold above VWAP. Let me look at a 5-minute chart. Right above. So you want to see it get above, you see these moving average lines at 596 level. So it is bouncing off support. It is bouncing off VWAP. So this is one I would actually keep an eye on to see, is this going to flag right in here? You guys see right off the top of, you guys kind of see that right up in here, and now it's failing VWAP. So you don't like to see that. So again, We want to see if it can get above VWAP, not stay there. But again, watch and see down in here. Watch if it's going to fail down here. But ideally, you want to see it get above here and these moving average lines cross. That's why I was watching it, but it didn't give what I'd like to see it do. Keep an eye on CFRX again. So I'm still watching this on my other screen right now. But as you guys can see, I'd want to see it get out of here, break out of that level, and then get above this moving average line area. But it's the pattern that I start to keep an eye on over in here was I was looking at that possible cup and handle, which is failing. SDC might be moving up here. So this one is now breaking, and it's holding pre-market highs. It's got these choppy candles at the moment, so I'd like to see a little bit. I'm watching this to see if the 9 EMA and the 20 will cross and give a possible flag up in here. Let's look at a 5-minute. Yeah, it's got these choppy wicks up here. CFRX. So you can still see it's a bit far away from the 9 EMA on a 5-minute, but it's still holding up here on that 90-cent level. Let's look right in here. So technically you could still be in this one right here, but it's still kind of got that roller coaster level. So you can use that 9 EMA as a guide. Again, it's contending with these upper wicks like this. So got to watch and see this one again. Kind of doing, it's not really great, but kind of doing a possible pennant-ish pattern. But you got to use that 9 EMA as your guide. If you're using like a small little candle like this, if you were to get an entry in over here, you can use a close below that 9 EMA as your stop. Or if you wanted a tight one, maybe you use off one of these 1-minute candles. It's just a little bit overextended on the 5-minute. CTIB, let me take a look. I'm actually looking at SDC too. Let me look at CTIB. Yeah, so CTIB, bit overextended. It's got to clear that, I would say $3 right there, that $3 level. Where's my chart? By the time I'm trying to do that resistance level, right here, that $3 level, I'm assuming CTIB's got to be a low floater with the way it's moving right now. Let me take a look. Yeah. Guys, these are ones I personally don't like. If you're looking at CTIB, you want a hammer candle like this. When you're chasing way out here, I'm forget it. I'm way away from that. If you don't get one of these, if you don't get the risk off that small candle, I'm not risking way on those huge candles. And CFRX is still moving up. So for those of you looking at CFRX, now you want to see it hold that 95-cent level and clear $1. Dollar is very, very important. That was the candle right here. I didn't see that one clearly enough when I was looking at it. Right here, that small little hammer candle. So at this point, watch the candle. You got to see it. You want to see it break ideally $1. If you got in over here, you could take your profits anywhere near $1 or watch the candles and the reversals around $1. Or you could kind of move your stop up to like right up in this level around 95 cents. It is broaching $1 now. It just all depends on what you're looking to make on a trade. You know, if it's 91 cents, you're up 8 or 9 cents. Are you going to wait for reversals and watch it dump? Or see if it's going to break out? Or are you going to take your profits? So see if it breaks $1. Yes, I'll look at FET in a second. The only thing I'm concerned about right off the bat with FET, terrible volume. I'd like to see at least a few 100,000. So before I even look at FET, I probably wouldn't even really look much at it until it gets a little bit more volume. So very important. See, this is what we're looking at, guys, right? Watch this candles right here on this candle right at $1. Now, don't be surprised. Again, we're going to watch here. Is it going to form a flag? It might not be a big enough flag because, again, these candlesticks are bigger. So at this point, watch this 9 EMA. This 9 EMA is right near that 95-cent level. So we're going to watch right in between here. Dumping right back down. So you guys see how the candles get bigger? It's just because more people are watching them. It's breaking out. More people are watching them. The candles get bigger. So the risk gets a little bit bigger when you're looking at a stock like this as well. When you're in back down over here, the risk is less. When you get over here, you had another potential entry right in here. But now you can see $1. When stocks break $1, very, very important resistance level. Dang it, CDC just took off. I'm going to move over to CDC, I think, in a second. Well, I'm going to look. I want to see if CDC can retest that 950 level. Let's keep an eye on right here for a moment. CFRX. Watch if this bull flags. This 9 EMA, very important level. Right here, it's getting the bounce. So at this point, if you're bullish on CFRX, you want to see it break that dollar level. Just very, very important. You can see the candles are a little bit bigger. We're going to draw, see if this ends up being a bull flag. Again, it's a little bit further away from this 9 EMA. So right here, you can see it, it could either go and break out or it can come right back down to this level here. It just prices away from these moving average lines or this 9 EMA at the moment. So the risk is a little bit more. I'm watching SDC. I might pull over to that. I'm going to go over to, actually, you said FET real quick. Hold on once. Let me pull that one up. So, yeah, just a little bit too, you can see these kind of gap. These candles are kind of all over the place. It's just there's really no volume. It did take off, which is pretty decent. It did kind of break out. Went up 10 cents or so. But it's just a little bit bearish at the moment, kind of a head and shoulders and not enough volume. This is what I was looking at, was SDC. You can see that was one I was looking at. Had the crossovers and you had this little move right here, right off that 1 minute candle here. It broke out. So that was a nice one. As I was talking to you guys with that one, I was looking at CFRX. So now it's got that kind of shooting star candle. So at this point, you'd like to see it break above that 967, pull back a bit. You got to be careful of those shooting star candles. This might form tweezer tops if it can't break 967. Yeah, so at this point, guys, if you're new and you're looking at a stock like this, you want to see it pull back. So this one took off. Now you'd like to see it pull back. Well, go back to CFRX for a moment. So you guys see on CFRX here, you kind of have that spinning top candle here on that 9 EMA, bouncing off of moving average line support right here, right around that 95 cents. So now we got to watch and see if this is going to go and break out, clear $1. Let's look at a daily chart. This one might have a pop. This one might have some room to break out. Let's look at a 5-minute. So again, you can see kind of pulling back right here on a 5-minute, another pullback. See if it can hold that 95 cents. Let's take a look at a 1-minute chart again. So it's selling off. You want to see it hold that 95 cent, give a better entry. Again, these candles are a little bit all over the place. I am looking at SDC again, though. I might pull over to that one and take a look at that one. That is a little bit more my style. I like more of like kind of the medium to higher float stock. I was watching to see if it was pulling back here, but it's still a bit overextended off that 9 EMA. I'd like to see it pull back down here a little bit more. CFRX again. Let me see. This one still doesn't want to quit. So this one I'd actually really watch it more right now. Small little candle off the 9 EMA, right near support level here. This is where I'd start to watch it more. It's starting to break a little bit more right here. See if it kind of can hold that 96 cent level. It's retesting here. See if it can get a break. A very critical candle. I actually just took a small little position to show you guys. So right here, I just bought 1,000 shares. I'm using that 9 EMA as a guide. That's a hammer candle. I don't like a lot of risk. So now I'm watching. Is it going to break $1 or is it going to retest this level? I have very tight risk management just to show you guys. I'm watching this candle. If it can't hold this level, I'm going to get out. So it's retesting that 1 minute. That 9 EMA. I don't like it so far. I might get out on that one, guys. See? Don't like it. I'm out. So that's it, guys. So as you can see, it kind of poked right down. So I risked off that 1 minute candle. And as you can see, it went against me. So I risked it just to see if it can go and break in anticipation of $1. But I kept real tight risk management. I didn't let it fall away down here. So that's the stuff, guys, where you got to be very careful. That's where if, you can see I risked off that 1 minute hammer candle to see if it would break $1. And I didn't like that candle, so I got out. But if you can see, just to show you guys, I just bought 1,000 shares. So, if you look at it, when you have tight risk management, depending on how many shares you bought, so that was a 3.5 cent loss, right? So I only lost $34 on that. But I keep my risk tight. So if I kept it to fall even further, that would have been another, 3 or 4 cents. So me personally, I don't like any big risk. I like really tight risk management. Guys, please, if you're watching on YouTube, first of all, I'm on a delay. No problem with FET. And guys, don't follow trades. I was just trying to show you guys just kind of, just the movement of this. So again, please don't mirror trade. That's why you can see I only just bought 1,000 shares to show you guys. So if I see something, I might show you guys something like that, but please don't, we're not pump and dump trade room and stuff. So don't buy something, especially if you're on YouTube watching, you're getting a delay. So SDC, that one's still moving up with no chill. Dang it. So I'd look for a 5-minute pullback on this one. Nope, still moving on up. $10 resistance. So I'm going to keep an eye on that one. That one's just got no chill right now. SPY is still pretty interesting at the moment. Let's take a look at SPY. So SPY now, it's right at an important level at this 200 SMA in a 5-minute. You can see lots of those kind of high wave candle wicks. Let's look at an hourly chart. So now it's above the 20 EMA on the hourly. Has some room up to that 200 SMA potentially on the hourly. So we'll see if the SPY moves up. Some of these stocks might move up with it. Typically, stocks run with the market, so we'll have to watch and see. BE, that's one I've been tracking for a while, this energy stock. This one right here. So BE, I'd like to see a little bit more volume on this, but I'm seeing right here it's bouncing off the 20 on a 5-minute. This one might be a little bit interesting right here, so I'm going to see if this forms a possible flag right off the top of that 793 level. Let's look at a 5-minute or a 1-minute chart. This one may be setting up. This is a little bit interesting to me. Right off of here, it's bouncing off that 793 level. So I've been watching this one for a little bit, guys. For a few days, I've been keeping an eye on BE. You can see kind of getting kind of right at 836 level. Then you have still has room on that 50 SMA. The moving average lines are crossing on the daily. So you can see many times it has this daily candle. It pulls back a little bit. Either it'll stay pulled back, or it kind of pulls back before then it. Oh, that's a weekly candle. Let's look at the daily. So daily a little bit overextended. So watching definitely BE a little bit closer. And there you go. Darn it. One little move up right here. This little kind of this long-legged doji candle. So at this point, you want to see if it can clear that 799 level. I'm still watching SDC if that one will pull back. Let me go back over to that one. So that one still has no chill. So it's got that $10 resistance level. I'd like to see it pull back here to the 9 EMA at least. But it's still a little bit overextended. So BE, I'm watching this 5-minute candle. You can see it's still holding above that 793. See if it forms a bullish hold, possible flag pattern. It's an energy stock. This one's definitely had some movement lately. If it can hold that 793, watch, the next candle, it might pull back a little bit, and then see if it can get a break of $8 and get above that, previous close and continue up. I'd like to see the moving average lines cross on a 5-minute. The 1-minute. Still keeping an eye on SDC. So the 1-minute right now might be forming a double top. You want to see it clear that 799 level. Get this 9 EMA to catch up and get it to break above that $8, $7.99 level. We're going to watch BE for another minute. I want to see how this 5-minute candle closes and then see what happens on the 1 minute. SDC is still potentially pulling back to that 9 EMA on a 5 minute, so keep an eye on that one as well. I'd like to see some more volume on a 5 minute. So right here, right on BE, so it's poking up a little bit right now. Now it needs to clear that $7.99, then that $8 level. So right here, critical area here, that $7.99 level, needs some volume to come in. Still watching SDC, see if it pulls back to that 9 EMA. Right now with BE, you want to see it clear that $7.99 and then break that $8 level. Needs some volume. It's not getting the volume it needs, and you can see it's possible doji candle. SDC is dumping at the moment. And BE couldn't clear and hold on that 1 minute, that $7.99 level. So I'd watch for a reset on that one. Let me look at the 5 minute. Doesn't mean the move's over with. You got to see right now, is it going to form kind of a diagonal flag? You want to see the 9 and the 20 cross. Let's look at some other ones right now, see if there's anything to keep an eye on. So pack drilling, you can see it's a little bit further away from the 9 EMA in a 5 minute. You'd like to see that one pull back. Let me pull that one up. SDC we were looking at. So SDC on a 5 minute, as you can see, very overextended. Now it's definitely pulling back hard. So at this point, I'd like to see, you know, if I'm bullish on this, I'd like to see it come back down here, form a flag of some sorts, but it's not looking so hot at the moment. Plug. Plug might be interesting. So plug needs to clear that 367 level. Got some support around that 358. This is the 5 minute chart. It is a high floater, so this one could be a little bit interesting right now with plug. Let's look at a daily. And look at some resistance right around that 378 level. So see if it can hold that 358 and then clear above that 368. I'll get right up to that 378 level. So be careful, that could be a head and a left shoulder. So you want to see if it can clear that left shoulder area. This one might be interesting right here. Possible cup and handle. We'll keep an eye on plug for a minute. You want to see if it can break this 366 level. So possible cup and handle, but also possible head and shoulders. Let's watch what it does off this 9 EMA. Right to that 367. See if it can break that 367. Now it's going to pull back right here, probably to that 366. Right in between here, you want to see it clear 367. So at this point, you can see it's either double top pulling back, possible cup and handle. So watch and see if we get a 1 minute flag here. It's got to hold that 366 level. Now clear 367 and break out. And you want to see 368.7 break out and hold and get this 9 EMA to catch up and push price up. All right, it's breaking a little bit above 360. Now watch for the retest and see if it can hold. Right here, that 367. Watch and see if you get a 1 minute pullback retest and it can hold. Right there, see that? Many times this happens, guys. It goes up a tiny bit and comes right back down. That's why you want to see if the retest will hold. Still hasn't formed yet, so we got to watch the 1 minute and see. Watch this 1 minute candle. Retest. Right now, see if it holds that 367. Coming back down. Now that's 3. Watch in between here. Watch if there's a flag that forms on a 1 minute right in here. And if it doesn't flag, then watch and see if it fails the 9 EMA and then it breaks it. Still keeping an eye on SDC. I might switch over to SDC, might be a little bit better for me right now. Shoot, keep an eye on this one on plug, guys. I'm also looking at a possible flag on SDC. Let me go over to that one. This one right here, I'm looking at a possible bull flag. Kind of a head and shoulders-ish, a little bit, but it might be forming a cup. Let's look at a 5 minute. So you can see in a 5 minute candle may be forming here. Possible bullish candle. Now at this point you want to see if that 985 can hold and get above 995. Plug, let me go back over to plug. Dang it, look at that thing move quick. Right here, keep an eye on right here and a possible flag on plug. Right here is very critical. See if it can hold that 367. Retesting. Now it needs to break that 369. So right here, you want to see this break. You want to see it hold this 9 EMA and this 367 level. See if it forms a flat top and can break 369. Use that 9 EMA as a tight right around here, the top of this candle, that 367 is a good guide. Right here, very important level. Retesting the 9 EMA. Sometimes level 2 is also manipulated a lot. So I look at candlesticks and patterns and support levels. I like tight bid ask spreads. I like medium and higher float stocks. So like something like this, if I was to risk on this, I don't like it right now. You know, it's a really tight bid ask spread. If this thing fails on me, I won't stay in long. You know, I might take a two, like you saw in my other trade. I took a 3 cent loss. I'm out, you know. So something like this. Now I'm watching this one really closely. Right here with plug. I might consider this one. This is very interesting at the moment. This one could go either way. I'll just show you guys. I'm going to get in on this one. If my my order filled right now, I'm using very tight stop. If this thing doesn't break 369, I'm out. And I'm not going to take a drop or a huge drop. I'll let this thing right here. It's that 9 EMA, this 367 level. I want to see 369 break. You can see a flat top forming right here. So at this point, 369 needs to break. I'm watching this very closely. And now it's showing some weakness. I might get out if I'm just going to keep right an eye on this 9 EMA. So you can see many times it kind of moves up a little bit right here. It gives back part of the candle on a 5-minute. So right now, want to see it clear that 369 level. Now, so this right here, it's dropping down. This is going against me. I'm going to look at this candle here, and I might decide to get out. I'm out. I'm just taking a loss on it. So you can see that was a fake out, guys. I'm not even letting this candle form completely on that one. So it could break and hold, but I just don't. Again, you can see on plug, I took a 2.5 cent loss. So those two trades I took were not good, but a combined total of 5 cents, right? So you can see I risked off that potential flat top. It didn't break, but I'm not going to let this thing, you know, keep falling down. I took a tight little loss on it. And then CFRX, that was the other one earlier today. You can see that one, that one had a quick little fake out and dropped. But you can see total of 5 cents, right? I just don't like bigger loss. And you can see right now it's trapped in between the moving average lines, so I wouldn't stick around that one. But now go over to SDC. Let's go over that one. SDC, this one right here. I'd keep an eye on this one. Possible flag right in here. So it could be a possible flag or cup and handle. Right in here. So this is where I'd like to see in here if this is going to... right here. Let's look at a 5-minute candle. So this 5-minute candle is still forming on SDC. You want to see if it can hold that 985 level and if it can go and continue and break above $10. So let's look at a 1 minute again. And it's kind of failing that flag pattern down at the moment. I mix it up. I'm doing something I normally don't do for you guys. Like typically I have a very, what do you call that kind of brain that like I can only focus on one thing at a time. So I'm either like teaching you guys or I'm trading, but I was actually branching out and trying for you guys today to show you guys both, just to kind of show you guys, you know, when things go good, when they don't go good. So I'm doing what I normally don't do and showing you a couple here because I'm trying to make my brain work and be multitasking. It's not working out very well for me today. But as you can see, again, you know, just keep tight. You know, trades fail, guys. You know what I mean? So that's why you have tight risk management. Let me see. WTI. Let me take a look at that one. But yeah, so I like a good 5-minute setup, and then I go look off a 1 minute entry. I look at typically for these bull flags, you know, and then when they break out, you know, I'll take my profits a lot of times. I won't stay in. But you'll see today that flat top, it didn't break out. And then that other one, I forgot what happened on CFRX, but let me go back to SDC for a moment. SDC is still creeping around that 987-ish level. Right here, let me look at a 5. All right, still forming that 5-minute candle at the moment. So it's a little bit overextended. And it's failing that falling wedge kind of pattern right there. So want to see it get above that 986 or 87 level. No problem, Chris. Yeah, I'm just trying to show you guys again. It's just sometimes you got to push yourself. I'm not a good multitasker. I'm terrible multitasker. Terrible at it. WTI. So now WTI in a 1 minute is clearing the moving average lines. So now this one, let's take a look. You can see moving average lines are crossing. Kind of has a rising wedge-ish, rising channel here. You can see VWAP might be trying to move up towards VWAP. You can see some resistance right around here, this 584-ish level. And so you can see right here, see how it's smacking right off there? So it's hitting resistance at the moment. Let's look at the 5, right back down, right? You guys see that? Hitting resistance right back down. Let's look at a 5-minute chart. Let's see what 5 minutes doing. So 5 minute, it's right at that 9 EMA on a 5 minute. So watch this 5-minute candle, see if it forms and can get above the 9 EMA. But then again, obviously you got to see too, what's the chance of moving. So if you looked at, 585 level, then you can see 587, 588 is resistance. Not a lot of profit potential. But if you were to risk on something like this, you can have really tight risk management. See if these 5-minute candles, this may, if it can get above the 9 EMA and move, you might use the 5-minute candles and just watch and see. Is it going to get above VWAP in this area? Or if it starts to reject over at VWAP and you got an entry down here, you might, again, kind of a higher float stock. You can see, if you, obviously, I'm not liking this one at the moment, but if you did and it started to reverse on a 5-minute and you weren't in it for long, your loss is you might break even, right? RADZ, hold on 1 second. RADA. So that's a 5-minute. I'd like to see it pull back a little bit more on this one. Right back to see that 613 area. Possible flag. It's a little bit overextended on a 5-minute. Was this the one that was a low floater? Yeah, kind of a lower float stock. So let's look at a daily chart. So it's at daily highs. Oh, this one still could have some room to run on RADA. Could break out on the monthly. So at this point, you just got to be aware of just kind of very overextended off that 5-minute chart. So watch right here if it can hold that 613, form a flag, and break out. All right, let me see what you guys are saying. So yeah, Trade Gal, I like kind of getting a good 5-minute and then scalping. So like, let's take a look at EGO for a second. I also don't like being in trades very long, but that's where I kind of look at a lot of these like lower, like kind of the medium and higher float stocks because it gives me more time to make decisions. I'm not saying I really like EGO at the moment, but I was looking at this at the 1 minute, which I'll show you. You can see kind of a piercing candle on a 5 minute. This is a gold stock. We can look at the market. What's the market doing right now? Might be pulling back to the 5 minutes. So you'll see a lot of times gold stocks will kind of run inverse with the market. So I was looking right up around here and kind of looking at a 1 minute. Sometimes I'll look at like this and I'll say, you know, let me see how much volume is on this right now. Not too bad. I might look at this and be like, if there's a flag that forms here, you know, maybe I would go for a 5-cent scalp. It's not forming a flag right now, but if it bounces off here and gets up here, I might go and say, hey, I'll take a 1 minute trade on this for a possible 5-cent move, and I'll use like a 1 cent. Like I won't stay in it long. So sometimes I'll scalp like those 5-cent, you know, trades like that where I'm just in and out. Right now it's kind of reversing, so I don't like it. BE. See, that stupid stock. Every time I look away from BE, it does something. So this is the one I was showing you guys earlier. So now this one's going red to green, and it's bouncing off the 200. So I'm going to watch this one right now for a moment. I want to see if it can break that 810 level. And nope. So that's where, again, when you watch these guys, when it goes and they break out and you look for the retest, you know what? It doesn't retest. So it was retesting the 200. It didn't form, and then it failed. Look for those bull flags. Plug. That one might be, let's see. So now plug. So this is where I got tricked out, or right over here. You guys see that flat top? That's where I got shook out. Now you guys can see it still bounced off the 20 and kind of floated around in here. So sometimes you can stick, but I don't like to stick around in this type of stuff, right? And then you get messed around, and I'm not a huge fan of that. But now, possible cup handle pattern. Let's take a look at, now it's retesting. Let's look at a 5 minute chart. Right around that high a day, that 368 level. Still a bit further away on a 5 minute chart from this 9 EMA. So that's where you got to see, guys. Sometimes these patterns will look good, but then you got to realize, you know, how much further does it have to run? You have about 10 cents or close to 10 cents to that resistance on the daily chart. And that's why these 5 minute patterns are also very important to follow. And you can see, you know, they're a little bit, this may form an ascending triangle, right? So this thing just kind of, you can see it's kind of yo-yoing around. So technically before, like if I stayed in at, let's go back to where I had done that trade. Right over in, where was that candle I got shook out? Right here. So you can see I was looking to see if it would break this flat top, right? It failed down here. So if I put this line down here, let's go look at where that was on a 5 minute. All right. So on a 5 minute setup, if you guys look, I could have, if I wanted to, again, I like really tight. I don't like being in things long enough. You can see it was kind of below this candle right here. Technically, the 9 EMA is still right down here on a 5 minute. So technically, I could have said, hey, maybe I won't take that loss and use this 9 EMA as a guide right down here, 364, right? So I could say, hey, maybe if I got in, I'd use a candle close below the 9 EMA on a 5 minute as my stop. The problem is I don't like to be in stuff like this for a while, you know? So technically, let's go look at the 1 minute. That puts me technically right down on the 50, right? So technically, if I wanted to, that would still be 368 down to 364. It's still not a bad, it's still only 4 cents of risk, right? So that's actually not too bad Do I have the potential to make 8 cents? Yeah, I mean, so there is a 2-to-1 profit loss ratio on that one, or risk reward ratio. But the problem is I don't like to sit through this stuff, right? So if something goes against me, like it did, I'll cut my losses because I don't know what's going to happen if I stay in it long. I'm going through this roller coaster. I'm going through the emotions of it. I'll just take my loss and I'll look for the next one. And that's just me personally, though. But technically, this thing's still kind of going sideways. But then be aware, this might be a head and shoulders pattern forming. Got to watch and see. It needs to clear that 368 level. Intraday, are you wondering, trade Dow? Like if I'm doing a day trade, I'd like to see at least 1 million volume, but sometimes if it's a higher float or medium float, if I have at least 500,000 to 750,000, then I might take a trade. Low float, first of all, I'm not a big low float fan myself, but if it's like a medium or higher float stock, I'd like to see as close to 1 million as possible. Yeah, it's true wild, right? It's like Slender Man, only moves up when Lucian looks away. Exactly. Yeah, trade go. I would consider medium float probably 50 million or higher. See what happens when plug. When I look away, it starts to creep up. Needs to break that 367 level right up in here. Broaching 369. So now at this point, watch and see if it can get above that 369 level. You can use kind of that 9 EMA and that 368 level. Watch if it retests and flags, or if it's going to go watch the retest, see if it holds. You guys see these? This is where I'm just not a fan of, guys. I like to clear like back in these areas. But when you get these kind of roller coasters, see how they just kind of fake you out a lot in here? You can still be in it. You just got to have the stomach to be able to go through this. And SPY looks like it might be going... It's broaching previous close. We'll have to see if it goes red to green. See how it moved right back up to 369. Now right back down to the 9 EMA. But as you can see with this one, like with plug, what I do like about plug with a stock like this, it is more, I think it's probably more higher float, let's say. So plug is more of a higher float stock. So this is where you could, what I like about this is you could get tricked out a little bit and your stops can be very tight. You know, so it's not like even as this thing dumps down, if you look at as it didn't break out way up here at 369, it only fell 4 cents, right? So this is what I like about it. I personally wouldn't hold this far down. I'd probably get out right down in this area. But this is where sometimes you can get on these and you might have a couple swings on it and goes against you, but you can keep your losses very small. So right here, if you were to look again, you can see this may be forming an ascending triangle, but it also could be a possible head and shoulders, right? So this is one of those kind of where it just tricks you up and down like this. But that's where, again, depending your risk management, you can keep it tight. But I can see it's definitely tricking you. You can see, look at these 1 minutes. They keep tricking you out. That's where you got to look at the 5 minute many times, and you can see it's kind of caught up in these higher wicks up in here. So it kind of has possible ascending triangle, but again, it could form double top and end up failing down here. But as you can see, it's further away from the 9 EMA on a 5 minute, but that's actually technically only about 2 cents down. So it's not too bad for risk management for money wise. So I'll look away from, guys, so here's your strategy. I'm going to look away from plug. So that means you should probably keep an eye on plug. So the moment I walk away, it'll probably break out. I was looking at BE again because now it kind of broke out, came back down right off that, right above that 200 SMA. On a 1 minute, let's look at a 5. So this one kind of has let's look at a 1 minute chart. Kind of has a rising wedge-ish pattern in here. And that was that 1 minute candle. I was too late to it. As I was showing you guys this, I would have probably just risked off this 806 in anticipation of a break of 810 and used that one little candle as a close. So this is something like, if I was to risk off this, I might risk this 1 cent candle to make 5 cents on it. So I, might have said, okay, right here, it's kind of in this rising channel. It's holding, I'll risk off here and then watch and see. So you can just keep an eye on this one for a moment, see what it does. So it broke kind of that head and shoulders pattern, kind of in this rising channel. I've been watching BE because this one's been kind of moving a lot lately. So you can see it's a little bit further away from this 9 EMA. But this one's definitely has some volatility to it lately. Let's see what plug is doing on my other screen. Plug is still faking out, but look at that thing, huh? Looks like it could be an ascending triangle or a double top. I actually might switch over to PACD. PACD might be interesting. So at this point right here, now I might look at, is this going to bull flag back, see if this 9 EMA can catch up on a 1 minute. But you can see so something like this, if you were to risk off of this and you were in this trade, now you're up 2 cents, right? It could be a reversal down. You could use this 9. You see how you just have time to make decisions? I like that. So I just don't like that effect, with low floaters that I have to get in and out or make my decision really quick. This right here, it goes up. I can make decisions right here. Technically, I might be up 2 cents. Do I say, hey, I don't like it right now? Do I wait, watch it fall? Do I look on a 5 minute? You see how it just kind of gives you some time? I'm just showing you in general. I just like the idea of that. PACD. So right now, careful of the shooting star with BE. But see right here, even those 2 minutes right here, that could be 3 minutes of a trade, and you can say, okay, this is not doing what I want at 8:10. Do I want to wait for it to fall? Do I want to use the 9 EMA as my close? Or do I just take my 2 or 3 cent profit and get out? Right? See how you have time to make that decision? PACD. All right, Will says overstock. OSTK. Watch to see if it bounces on a 1 minute here. Got to contend with that 784 wick and then that 789. Let's look at a 5 minute. It's very overextended on a 5 minute. Can it keep going up? Sure, but it's just a little too overextended for me at the moment. So PACD might be a little bit interesting right here. It bounced off the 20 on a 5 minute. Just closed above the 9 EMA on a 5 minute. Pacific Drilling, that might be oil. Look right here on a 1 minute. You can see the moving average lines might be pinching. Watch right here. See if there's a 9 and 20 crossover, and see if this can flag and break out. Let's look at how much volume there is on this one. It's got some volume. FCEL. Let's look at FCEL. Might be making a pop up as well. FCEL just had a quick move up to VWAP. I'd like to see if FCEL can get a 5 minute close above VWAP. EGO. Let me look at that one. EGO might be doing a little bit of a reversal here. Needs to get above that 9 EMA on a 5 minute. This might be doing a double bottom on a 1 minute. See if it can clear that 789. If so, it might have a run if the moving average lines can reverse, can cross over and move up. Right here, watch if it's a possible flag. And plug still moved up. It's moving up a little bit and retesting on that 370, but it's going slow. In BE, let's go back over to BE. We're taking a look at that one. So BE, remember I was showing you guys right up here? Well, look, it did close below that 9 EMA, but if you guys look at the lower trend line, it's still above it, right? So technically, if you're going just off trend lines, you could still be in it. If you use the 9 EMA as a close, you would have stopped out right here, or actually probably right even in here. So technically, you would have taken a 1 to 2 cent loss if you were just using that 9 EMA. If you use the lower trend line right here, you could actually technically still be in it. So you see how like you get time on this to make a trade? That's where I kind of like these medium to higher floats. So you might not get as huge of gains, but you can use better, trend lines better. You can use, patterns a little bit better as well when making your decisions. And so you can see it kind of has this rising wedge pattern. Now you got to be careful with rising wedges. When they start to fail this lower trend line, you got to be very careful here. So this is where, again, on a 5-minute chart, you can see when you went to a 1 minute, again, it kind of moved out and faked out. So even in this is the point I wanted to show you guys as well. So you could have, so technically, here's one of those things where, again, showing you guys time, right? So if you had gotten in this 1 minute candle over here, this hammer, look at this mess. This is a complete mess through here. But even if you got caught up in this mess right over in here, you actually might almost be broken even or maybe taking a 1 minute or 1 cent loss. So you actually look at all of those 1 minute candles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's like 10 minutes of 1 minute candles that, again, I wouldn't recommend staying through all this garbage, but it gives you the option to. Does that make sense for you guys? Let me look at SDC again. Kind of an evening star pattern at the moment. FCEL might be interesting. So FCEL has, on a 1 minute, has the moving average crossovers, the 9 and the 20. Might be retesting VWAP. On a 5 minute, it may be retesting VWAP on a 5 minute and a hold. Let's see if that'll hold on a 5 minute. Might keep an eye on FCEL for a minute, and then I might end the stream for you guys. EGO, I'm keeping an eye on too, that gold stock. Let me look at EGO. So you can see that one, what I was showing you guys earlier, possible reversal. It's right at that 9 EMA on a 5 minute. Watch and see where that closes. And it's right near that 9 or the 50 SMA on a 1 minute. This one might clear that. Keep an eye on it. I'm going to watch this 5 minute candle close, see what happens. See if it closes above the 9. This is sometimes I might come in on this and be like, if it closes above that 9 EMA, it's got room up. Maybe I would scalp 5. I might have the room for 5 to 10 cents. I might consider something like that on a reversal. Because I can see the SPY might be reversing potentially right near a previous close. So, you know, that's kind of moving down. So right now there's a 5-minute drop on the SPY potentially, and now gold is moving up to the 9 EMA. And again, you can see kind of tighter risk management. If you were to risk off something like this, it's 1 or 2 cents. So letting that 5-minute candle close, see what happens. Many times when the 5-minute candle closes on a 1 minute, it may pull back into that candle. Right around into this area. I'm watching a 1-minute candle on my other screen. One minute retest. Let me show you guys a 1 minute here. 5 minute. You guys can see it's kind of retesting that 5-minute candle right in here. So now watch, is it going to be a doji or is it going to move up? Oops, shit. My hotkey didn't work. Watching this retest here on a 1 minute. Want to see if it can clear that 792. So now watch here on a 1 minute. See if this can hold. If so, this may form a flag, bull flag, and then I'd look at like 795, 96 resistance level. See if it can hold this 9 EMA and this 789 level. So right now, technically in a 1 minute, it's going back into that previous 5-minute candle. So as you guys can see this kind of forming right here. You guys see it form that 5-minute candle. It's coming back retesting into that candle off the 9 EMA. Let's watch the 1 minute and see what it does. It's either going to fail or it might possibly form a bull flag. That 9 EMA may catch up. Right in here, this may be possibly one to look at. Kind of stalling at the moment. There it goes. So I took an entry on that one right there. I'd actually probably use about that 790 or so as my close. All right, guys, I'm going to stay in the trade room for a few minutes. YouTube, I'm going to end the stream. Hopefully this helped you guys today. I tried to show you guys a little bit more. I'm going to use right here that 790 area right there. All right, guys, stay tuned in the trade room. I'll be right with you guys. And YouTube, I will see you guys all later. It's retesting that 790 area now. I'm actually going to use a 5-minute, watch the 5-minute chart on that one. But you can see it's kind of bouncing right off that 790 area. I can use really tight risk management. If it goes against me, I might take a scalp, look around resistance around 75 cents to see. Again, right now it's kind of forming that doji candle. So guys, on YouTube, you can try us out. We have a 14-day free trial. Come and check us out if you'd like. We have really great pricing. Our pricing on our yearly service is the cost of basically most companies' monthly service, yeah, for what we charge for the year. All right, guys. Hopefully this helped you, and you guys have a great rest of your day. Enjoy.